Hey, tonight's topic is too much risk. I did a podcast and a video earlier about risk and courage, that kind of stuff, and somebody sent me a message. Message said, Anthony, when is something too much risk? When do you know that you've taken this risk too far? And my perspective on it is risk is tied to sacrifice. Essentially, what are you willing to look at and say you're going to sacrifice to take this risk? And at that point, what it is you're risking is going to be basically what is the backside? What are you willing to sacrifice? Because it could be your time, it could be your money, it could be your health, it could be a lot of things you sacrifice. So taking risks simply says when you go forwards, what are you going to put on the line so that potentially you may lose it? Now, that's what you have to realize. Too much risk is based on sometimes stepping away from the situation and think about if you put this thing on the line, whatever it is, if you lose it, will that be something that you can't live with? If you are in a place where maybe you're going to sacrifice your time or your family or something like that, and you can't essentially lose that and go on happy in the backside. I think that's the point at which you're putting in too much risk, because that's an area where if you lose that thing for something that's really not even as important because you're chasing your business to be successful, so you're burning through all your money, or you're neglecting your kids, or you're neglecting your health, or neglecting your wife or husband, like at that level, that's too much. I think personally, it's one thing to chase a dream beyond people's, their knockdowns of you and their tear-downs and their beliefs. That's fine, but if you cannot potentially lose that thing you're putting the line that you're sacrificing without moving on past it, you might rethink what it is you're going after, because there's a certain line that must be drawn, and it's different based on each person. So I'm not saying there's a definitive line. I just personally think there's a gray area. You must find your gray area and work within that area, so you don't end up looking back later on in hindsight and being very angry at yourself for putting something that was too risky in the line and losing it. So essentially, it's a gamble. If you can win, win the game. If you can't, be prepared for the consequences. Hope that makes sense. Share this video. Please share the video. I love you guys and I love you to share it. And as always, good night. God bless and
Go Ducks!
go Ducks!
Go Ducks!